Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMtrading. Today is June 2nd, 2021. And today is Wednesday morning. So looking at the highlights of today, we're watching oil trade to new record highs at $68 a barrel. Just about a year ago, who would have thought that was possible? Now, there's no major economic event scheduled for today, but as we look at the various markets, the US dollar finally perking up and gaining versus the British pound as well as the other major Forex symbols. Now, looking at the indices, both the Dow Jones and the Nasdaq give up their gains, while commodities in terms of gold breaking 1900 and receding below that, while oil hitting and sustaining its new record highs. Now, looking at the stock markets, it's the tech stocks that slumped the market lower yesterday. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, in terms of Bitcoin, pretty much unchanged and looking like it's firming up right at resistance. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So I'm going to first take a look at the Euro USD. In just a second, we'll take a look at the GBP because that was really the one that broke down the most versus the USD. And you can see that we've retraced back down to this 122-ish level. Now, this is a bona fide support level, because that was resistance level before. If we look at several times it tried to break it. So it's not a major support level. So if we breach it, it's not the end of the world because we've got a lot of noise here at this 121.90-ish level. So, I mean, we're in a tight range relatively. Okay, we only receded about, 70 pips from our high. So even less than that. Even about 45 to 30 pips. So this is really a very flat market. However, looking at the Gbp Usd, this is a different story where it's more volatile than the euro versus the dollar, and we receded much more. We receded from 142.37 down to 141.53, which is about an 80 pip move on the downside. So where we go about 30 to 40 pips on the euro, we jump about 80 pips on the GBP. Okay, just a more volatile Forex symbol versus the USD. So we're at that bottom of the range. I'm not sure if we're going to continue selling off here today because there is the NFP coming out on Friday. So, just be aware of that. So we may just be consolidating at this area and we're trading on a lighter volume environment. Just remember that. Now, looking at gold. Gold pushed up to 1912, couldn't sustain it and had some issues, tried it a couple of times, and naturally it's retracing, which is normal. It's fine. On a 4-hour chart, we're breaking the 30-day moving average. However, on the daily, we're not even close to it. So something to consider, how far do I think we'll retrace down to? 1877 seems to be a reasonable area. Okay, I don't think we'll get back to this 1830-ish level. I think it's a bona fide buy. I think that gold is going to get stronger until we see some sort of deflation in the market, okay, because the markets are in inflation mode right now. So something to consider in the price of gold is that over time, I think we're going to hit back to our all-time highs, possibly by the end of the summer. Now, looking at oil, we're on our dead highs here. Just gave up that $68 a barrel number. We're trading at $67.99. But if you look at a daily, we're at our all-time highs. We made all-time highs yesterday. And so we haven't been at this area since February. Now, remember, a year ago, we were trading somewhere in the negative area with the price of oil. So a big step forward for oil. Now, that's good for the markets. And generally, the markets actually go up in this type of environment. But not necessarily are we seeing that. Okay, because yesterday, the Dow Jones did give up its gains as we hit 34,775 and retracing below it. Now, we're not below our moving average in the 4-day. However, in the daily, we're not even below the 8-day moving average. However, and I'm saying this however once again, okay, we did hit a double top here at 34,823 going into the NFP Friday. I mean, we like to sell off before the NFP because traditionally, I would say in the past year, every time we hit the NFP, it's always been better than expected. So is it just setting itself up, that's selling itself off right before the NFP? Perhaps. I'm not sure about that, but possibly. Okay, so just keep that in mind as this may challenge our all-time highs once again. However, looking at the Nasdaq, we've been very weak on the Nasdaq. I would have expected a much more aggressive sell-off here, which we didn't get. Because if we look at the stocks, okay, especially the computer stocks, the Apple, the Facebook, the Microsoft, the Amazon, all very weak. Let's start out with Apple, 122 at the bottom of that range. And Facebook, Didn't sell off so much, but did sell off. Okay, 329. Relative strength still with Facebook. However, Microsoft really did take a hit there to 246, and Amazon just trading at 3,200. So we're in a kind of a funny place in the markets right now, because the markets don't want to go further down, but they're not necessarily so confident to go further up. Okay, so with that said, just realize that we're in that type of environment, not just to get too aggressive, especially during the summer months. Now, looking at Bitcoin, this is the last one we're going to take a look at. 36,700-ish level on the upper range, right, in the Fibonacci retracement level, but it's firming up. Okay, if I could draw a very short, okay, if I could draw a very short, excuse me, there we go. If I could draw a very short just trend line, you can see that it's still there. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3. It's a bona fide by the third time. So technically speaking, this should have been our support right there at 36,100-ish level, and to take it higher, possibly as this takes it higher at this 36,000-ish level. So keep that in mind. If this does push above that 38,000, which is that Fibonacci retracement level, it could go back up to the 40,000. Okay, that would be our next level to kind of hit, because it looks like we've consolidated in this area, that we've kind of like made a bottom, at least for the short term. We'll discuss it tomorrow in our Facebook Live. But for now, it seems like we're still firming up to break out. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you a great trading day. Thank you.